Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to talk about the visa numbers that were released by USCIS. How many of the 262,000 visas have they processed until Q2 of 2021? We're going to look at the numbers and then predict how many are they capable of processing for the remainder of the year until end of September. I'm pretty sure you'll be interested in this topic because a lot of people are in this adjustment of status stage and they are wondering, although there are a record number of visas or immigrant visas available for employment based category this year, how many will be actually used? What is the speed that USCIS is going through? So you might want to watch this video until the end because I'm going to make my prediction about how many visas will be processed and how many might be left over in the sense that will go waste. So if you're interested in this topic, watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this channel or on my video is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before taking any actions, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. So now on 23rd of this month, on June, USCIS released some numbers up until second quarter of 2021, which means the first quarter is October to December of 2020. The second quarter is January to March, end of March 2021. So that is the Q2 according to the USCIS calendar. So they have released some numbers and they are really surprising a little bit. We know that there was a pandemic going on and there was a resource constraint at the USCIS, but the numbers are really low. So first, let's look at the numbers that were published recently for Q2 and then compare with that with the Q1 and then predict what will happen until the end of September. Now here is the USCIS immigration and citizenship data. On this site, they kind of release the numbers. So I put some filters on the adjustment of status. You can do lots of different filters in here, but I just selected the adjustment of status and I selected the year 2021. So I got these results. So if you can see here, adjustment of status data for quarterly report. This is a long report. What I want to look at is all USCIS application petition form for fiscal year 2021 second quarter, which is January 1st to March 31st of 2021. So if you click on this, you get, so this is the report. As you can see, fiscal year 2021, and there are two specific columns, quarter 2 and fiscal year to date. So basically this is for January to March, end of March, and this is from October to end of March. So if you come down, this goes through a lot of different visa categories. So family based, employment based, these are all non-immigrant visas. So you can see all the numbers over here. What we are interested in this video is for lawful permanent residence section. And here you can see all the I-485 categories. So the first one is family based category, second one employment based, third is asylum, refugee, Cuban and others. Now first let's look at what happened from January to end of March. So the first column is how many forms were received. So for family based category, there were 44,454 forms received for I-485. And they are saying 66,147 were actually approved during this time. Now you may ask, how is this number greater than the forms received? Now remember, forms may be received in the previous quarter as well. So the number 44,454 are the forms received between 1st of January to 31st of March. So these were the forms, but they approved 66,000 cases. So there were forms from prior quarters as well, so prior to December as well. So that's why that number is higher. So although there were forms less received during that quarter, there were a lot of pending applications from the previous quarter that they were also able to process. So they approved 66,000 family based petitions. They denied almost 10,800 and the total of 76,948 forms were processed. And this is the number of pending forms. There are still 323,000 pending applications in family based category. Now year to date, you can see these numbers as well. They actually approved year to date 128,000 family based petitions in the first 6 months. So even though we were talking about that there are less number of processings happening for family based petitions, as you can see, the numbers clearly speak for themselves, that in the first 6 months there were 128,000 applications processed and approved for family based category. Now here's the surprising part. So first we'll look at the second quarter. In the second quarter, there were a total of 117,584 applications received. So that is not surprising. It is a very high number. Imagine there are only 140,000 visas available for this year, and plus 122,000, which is total number of 262,000 visas, immigrant visas available this year. In one single quarter, they received 117,000 applications for I-485, which would put that almost equal to the number of visas that are available for entire year. It's almost 140,000, and they are receiving 117,000 applications in one single quarter. If you look at the prior quarter, they were less actually, because this is the total year to date, so 204, so 170, almost 85,000 applications were received in the previous quarter, which is October to December. And look at how many were approved. Only 17,896 applications were approved. So let's round it up to 18,000. 18,000 applications were approved out of the 117,000 received. So what's the ratio? It's less than 20%. It's about 15% applications were processed in that quarter. So you can imagine the amount of backlog that USCIS is facing. They have 85% unprocessed applications per quarter. Okay, and there were about 1,610 applications denied. So the denial rate is quite high in my opinion. So if you look at if 18,000 were approved and 1,600 were denied, it's somewhere around 7 to 8% denial rate. So remember, this is whenever you make your 485 application, you have to be very clear with all the documentation, all the submissions, all the timelines. Otherwise, you can see these numbers. There are, in one single quarter, there were about 7 to 8% applications denied. Now let's look at year to date. Here are from 1st of October 2020 to 31st of March 2021. About 204,000 applications were received, and only about 45,381 applications were approved. So what is the approval percentage? Less than 25%. So less than 25% applications were approved out of the total number of applications received. So 75% of applications were pending as of March 31st. Denial rate was about 3,000. So 3,000 out of 45. So which is around 10%. I would say 8 to 9% of denial rate. So remember, it is very critical to look at the denial rate as well, because you have to be very careful with your 485 application. So that is the story. So if you compare with these above numbers, the total number of applications received for family based category were 112,000 during that year. Now granted, there are a huge number of applications pending, about 323,000 for family based category, but they were still able to approve about 128,000 of family based category applications. Compare that to employment based category. Their backlog is about 273,000 applications are still pending in 485 stage, and they were only able to process or approve 45,000 of that, so which is less than 25%, so 20 to 25%. So what does it tell us? This tells, here are my thoughts. We can still see that emphasis is being given to family based preference category, and that is not surprising. Remember what government we have right now. they have made their mandate clear. Their first priority is to bring families together. So no matter what you think, family-based preference category always has priority over employment-based category. So it is not surprising from these numbers that they are processing family-based as fast as possible, and they are taking priority over the employment-based category. Now let's look at what we can expect to see for the remainder of the year. So remember, these numbers were only for 6 months, from October 1st to March 31st. So we still have April 1st to end of September, so September 30th. So say for instance, on an average, we can say that they would receive another 120,000 visas or applications for 485 in the third quarter and fourth quarter. So in total of 240,000 plus 204,000. So imagine, this is a very, very huge number. It is 445,000 total number of I-485 applications received in one single year. Now remember, how many are available? Only 140 plus 122. So 262,000 visa numbers are available to be processed or to be given out as green cards during this entire year. And how many people are in the pool? 450,000, about 500,000 people are in the pool in the adjustment of status stage of the green card. So less than half will actually be processed even if they were to use up all the visas. But here's the reality. They only this one tells us is they only approved 45,000 applications. So let's say for instance they processed 50,000. So here is the number 48,000 that they processed 2 year. I would say they will be doing this at a double the rate. So even if we double the rate for the last 2 quarters, I would say they would be processing 50,000 applications per quarter. So 50,000 from April 1st to end of June, and 50,000 from 1st of July to end of September. So in total 100,000 applications more will be processed this year. So so now do the math. 100,000 for the rest of the year. I am doubling the number because Charlie said that they are processing very fast. They have gotten rid of the interviews, and they are also giving the waivers. They are also giving the waivers for biometrics. So consider that they will be processing at the double the rate. Even at the double the rate, they will only process 100,000 applications more in addition to the 50,000 that they have already processed in the first 2 quarters, actually 48,000. So I would say the maximum number of visas or green cards or 485 applications that they will process is 150,000. Now remember, how many visas are available this year for employment based category? 262,000. You do the math. 262,000 minus processed 150,000 at the end of the year. There will be 112,000 visas wasted. To be optimistic, just let's round it up. There will be 100,000 visa numbers potentially wasted in this particular year. So that was just the calculation. So if you are in the final stage of your green card, and if you are waiting, if your priority date has been current, the only way you can get your green cards soon enough is if your priority date was very early. So say for instance, if your priority date was 2010 or 2011, you might get your green card this year. If your priority date was much later, there is a chance that your application might be delayed for full processing. So this is just the reality of it. You might want to watch my other video, how the applications or how the visa numbers are allocated. You will get a clearer picture of how these numbers are allocated. But it's clear, out of the 262,000 visas, my estimate is at the most they will cross 150 to 160,000, and about 100,000 visas might be wasted this year. And we have 290,000 visas available for next year. We'll see what happens next year. But Charlie is progressing the dates left and right. There are 2 theories for it. One is to create the demand, let people in the airport so that they can get that EAD, and they can just keep on extending the EAD till finally whenever they get their visa. So that's the logic. The second one is they are behind. Their mandate is to clear the backlog. How successful they are going to be is to be seen. So this was just the reality check. People complain that I'm very optimistic, and I'm still optimistic. If they cross 175,000 or 200,000 visa issuances this year, everybody will be happy. But this is just the reality. My sense is they are going to waste about 100,000 immigrant visas this year. So I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.